All because it's Sunday the Sabbath doesn't mean that video game leaks aren't going to happen, and the gods of the video game leak world have bestowed upon us a message from the heavens about, well, the Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Con. Now, there's a lot of speculation leading up to the unveiling of the Switch 2, but it seems like more and more information is starting to come out about this, and you got to imagine that Nintendo is probably a little bit annoyed with it. I don't think it's anything to the point of where they're changing schedules and stuff like that. You're not actually seeing games, you're just seeing the more hardware side of things. Today we're going to be taking a look at an alleged Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Con leak, and I think this is a legitimate leak. There are several reasons why I think that we'll discuss in this video, but I think this is our first real look at the Switch 2 Joy-Con, and there are some interesting things worth talking about with this information that is now thrusted in front of our faces. Stick around to the end of the video for a random song recommendation because, I don't know, I've just been listening to this song a lot from my youth, and I think it's still a good song, and you might not know it. So let's take a look at this. These are allegedly stemming from a Chinese forum. This is being reported by Video Games Chronicle. Wario64 popped up over on Reddit this morning for the Nintendo Switch 2 side of things. And when you look at this, these images, there's quite a lot of information to take away from this, not just on the hardware side of things, but on the legitimacy side of things. Now, first and foremost, what's up with these nails, these fingernails here? Like they're a little bit long and they're a little bit inconsistent. You could see that we have a long index fingernail, a long thumbnail, and a long pinky fingernail. Now, this could be for roach clip purposes. Usually it's just, your thumb and then either your index or your pinky finger, but maybe this individual wants to switch it up, or this could just be poor hygiene. Cut your fingernails if you're going to be taking pictures of leaks of stuff that hundreds of thousands of people are going to see. Now, when it comes to legitimacy of this leak, this is where I think we kind of have to understand that this is probably real based on this stuff here. Having all of the licensing information, the certifications that this is an electronic thing, bobbity boobity beebity, like this is 100% legit in my eyes with something like this. If somebody is trying to perpetuate a fake leak, they could have simply just, thrown a sleeve onto this Joy-Con or something like that. But when you can actually see the information here that's actually somewhat traceable as well, I think then you kind of have to realize that you're probably looking at something legitimate. As far as the size of the Joy-Con is concerned, it definitely seems bigger than the standard Nintendo Switch Joy-Con does. Now, it's kind of hard to do a comparison of that because of the fact that we don't really know how big this individual's hands are, but it does seem to be a bit beefier and a bit larger. Of course, we have a blue rail system here that's, well, not really a rail system. It's going to be more magnetic, as indicated by the button here. That, of course, is going to detach the magnet from the sides of the Nintendo Switch system or Switch 2 when in handheld mode. That's something that's been talked about a lot. One thing I find very interesting, though, is that there's been some leaks floating around that the Joy-Con magnetic rails are going to be like orange and blue for separate Joy-Cons, and that kind of sticks with this motif. Is it going to be an orange and blue sort of color scheme for the Nintendo Switch 2 to differentiate it from the original Nintendo Switch that definitely had a lot of red stuff there? As a Knicks fan, even though they've lost 2 in a row and they need to bolster their bench, I would like that color scheme. And then, of course, you have the Joy-Con itself. You could see the biggest thing to me is the fact that the SL and SR buttons are so much bigger and wider than they are on the standard Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. Like, you had to have like these long fingernails in order to like tap those buttons, or just like put a little bit of your nail onto them in order to tap it if you were using the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con in like kickstand mode, or you handed one to a friend in order to use it. It wasn't a very ergonomic sort of thing. And the fact that this Joy-Con is a bit bigger and these two buttons are much larger, I think that bodes well for, once again, another legitimacy thing. There seems to be an IR sensor here as well, and I might just be talking out of my ass with this, but I believe that that is some sort of IR system that you would potentially use when also in kickstand mode. I guess, you know, we've seen a larger kickstand for the Switch 2 itself based on information that we've seen, you know, going on these skins and covers and things like that for the Switch 2 that many manufacturers have been showcasing. So I guess that would kind of make sense for Nintendo to once again lean into the kickstand mode. I don't really know how many people used it all that much. Like, maybe initially, like when I would bring it to like my day job and stuff, my original Nintendo Switch, I would do that, but you know. And then we of course have the analog stick here. You know, it's an analog stick, and we have a face button here. It is kind of interesting that they didn't show the front of the Joy-Con. However, I wonder what was kind of the reasoning behind that. Really, like, it's more dangerous to show the back of it like we're doing here than we are the front of it. So I think that would have been nice to see, but I'm kind of leaning towards, like I said, I'm leaning towards this being a legitimate thing. There's way too many, you know, things going on with this that look very real, that appear to be, you know, like this just kind of legitimizes it for me. And I think it is interesting to kind of deduce, you know, what we have. Like, we even have like a serial number for the Joy-Con right here that can probably be tracked. Now, a lot of people are starting to talk about a potential January 8th reveal for this system. That's something that's been thrown around the rumor mill. I don't really know much about that, so I haven't been following that sort of thing, but you know, it seems like these leaks are ramping up. And although we are seeing a lot of the hardware side of things, at the end of the day, like, the hardware is cool if you're like a diehard and you like to analyze this sort of stuff like I do, obviously, but really the software is what's going to be the most important thing. I think the software, as long as the software doesn't leak, I don't think Nintendo really cares about these hardware leaks, because we're still doing a bit of a guessing game. We still don't know how everything is going to work. We still don't know all of the features of the system itself, and we still don't know the software, which is the most important piece of hardware, that the more important than any sort of hardware, because software is why you buy hardware. So I just thought this was cool, though. I thought this was pretty interesting to take a look at. I am curious as to what you guys think. Do you think this is a legitimate leak or not? Let me know in the comments section down below. And like I said at the start of this video, I have a song recommendation for you. Naked Ray Guns is the name of the band. Treason is the name of the song. Now, I know what you're saying, you know, late 80s punk rock. That doesn't seem very RGT-ish. However, as someone who skateboarded, I hung out with a lot of the punk rock kids and went to the punk rock shows. I believe I heard this song in the skate video 1984, Let It Bleed, which is a great video. Very like Hesh style is what we called it, you know, like, you know, just like big handrails and stuff like that, tight jeans, very punk rock sort of thing. So yeah, Naked Ray Guns, Treason, a very catchy song. And a really good song. Like, it's a song that never gets old. I can listen to it over and over again and never really get bored with it. So if you stuck around for the song recommendation, thank you. Let me know what you think of the leaks, though, in the comments section down below. Is this something legitimate? Is this something that you would expect with this system? Is the system going to be orange and blue colored? Because I would like that. But I would also like the Knicks to stop this 2-game losing streak, and for Tom Thibodeau to play some of the bench. What's the point of having all these additional players on the bench if you're not going to play them? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well so you don't miss any uploads. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.